Well, hello there. Welcome to this new little Hunt Showdown podcast. Today we are doing the, as you can see, 15 player lobby survey. And again, this will be mostly uncut, so I'll try to obviously speak as fluent as possible, but also do as little cuts as necessary. And that being said, we are looking first into what I played during this event and what my general opinion towards that all is. First of all, I played 2 whole evenings during this testing phase. I couldn't do more, sadly, because of, well, time issues. So I played 1 evening that was 6 hours, split into solo games in duo queue and trio games in the trio queue. And the second evening I played was also split into solo games in duo queue and duo games in duo queue. So I saw a little bit of everything. The only thing that I didn't do is like solos or duos in the trio queue. But I usually wouldn't play that anyways, so I'm not sure why I would do that now. And overall, my opinion on the additional 3 people in the lobby was, after quite some time thinking about it now, that for the trio queue it's actually really good to have an additional team, and for the duo queue it's actually terrible to have the additional 3 people in the game. And I could explain that right now, but I want to do the survey first, so if something that I couldn't cover during the survey comes up, I will do so after the survey. So let's get this started. How did you queue up for your time in the past week? Okay, that's terrible already. Yeah. I queued up as several. I queued up as all of them. What do I pick now? I queued up mostly as a solo, obviously, because that's what I play mostly. This is not a good survey already. So, how did I queue up for your games in the past week? As solos, as trios, as duos? Not applicable. Not applicable is probably kicking me out of the whole survey. But I played all 3 states, which is... pick one of these if you played all 3 is like not a good way to make a survey. Which team size did you primarily play against? Duos. Yes, mostly duos. With whom did you play your missions? I also played with friends, but mostly solo. My point here is to have a survey that gives you multiple possible choices, but you can only pick one is not good if all could be applicable. This is not good. This is something I expect from Behavior, but not from Crytek. Crytek usually does somewhat decent surveys. Which server do you play mostly on Europe? Which game mode did you play primarily? Bounty Hunt. What is the current MMR? 3 stars. Mostly. Sometimes 4, sometimes 2, mostly 3. Next. How many missions did you play with 13 to 15 players? Definitely above 20. With 13 to 15 player lobbies, how did it impact your games? Number of fights definitely occurred more. A fight wins. I didn't count them. Roughly the same, I guess. I mean, I did rewatch some of the footage because I was looking into certain things. Number of fights encountered definitely grew. Number of losses, I would also say roughly the same. Number of extractions without bounty token. I die or I don't extract most of the time. So either I have a bounty token, then I extract, or I die and then I don't extract. About the same. 0 is still 0. Number of extractions with the bounty token. Also about the same. So I have a problem on this question as well again. This is so highly subjective and so highly regarded to how many thoughts you put in there and to actually what you kept track yourself of. And I'm pretty sure most people will be very negative here because most people are doing this in a sort of emotional way where, oh damn it, we faced another team, we died again, yada yada yada. I don't know. I'm not really happy the way the server is built, to be honest. Yikes. So on the earlier questions, it was easy to fix them because you just would need a multiple choice response or a sorting response, what you played most and what you didn't play to deselect basically. This one is a lot more difficult to fix because this one is actually very emotionally driven. If you're raging about the game the whole time, you are a lot more likely to give this a negative outcome than if you're like a neutral or positive approach. Because overall, in a ratioed way, the number of fights slightly got more, but the wins and losses kept the balance that they usually have. And again, bounty tokens, extractions without bounty tokens, 0 is still 0 because either I have them and extract or I die and I don't extract, or I get the extraction with the bounty token, but that's also roughly the same. I couldn't tell that we had a specific evening where we had really bad luck or really good luck in a certain way. We had all evenings a decent mix of good and bad games, as we usually have. So I think it's roughly the same. With 13 to 15 player lobbies, please estimate how often the following network issues occurred during your multiplayer sessions. Yeah, we definitely did more ping spikes and more bobbing as well. Unsuccessful reconnections to the server, about the same, 0 is still 0. Disconnects from the server, about the same, 0 is still 0. This survey is weird because there's no one not applicable now. Why is that missing? Can't even see that. So here's another applicable, but here obviously is nothing because the survey ends here, so yeah, no idea. At what stage of the mission did you feel the impact of the 13 to 15 player lobbies the most? Honestly, early stages. I'm a bit surprised by that myself, but I rewatched some footage, and the most confusing thing was that the spawn fights are a lot more worn out. You lose a lot more resources in early fights already, which in follow-up makes medium or mid-stage and late-stage fights also more difficult because you are lower on resources in general. The additional supply stashes right now from post-event help a lot on that, but it's still, you feel it the most in the early stage. Please respond to the following statement regarding 13 to 15 player lobbies. It added more meaningful fights to the mission. No, disagree. Let me elaborate that. Most of the quote-unquote additional fights happened for me, as I just said, in the early stages. a spawn fight that usually is between 2 or 3 teams sometimes, which is already a lot, especially in corner compounds if 3 teams spawn there. Why? Now there are 4 or 5 teams, because obviously the spawns still happen, but there are more now, so if there are more solos especially, you need more unique spawn fights. This pushed even more teams together, and I had fights, or one specific fight, where we were 6 teams. Well, we were 4 solos and 2 duos. So we were 8 people in one corner compound. At the beginning. I'm not sure how many from the adjacent compounds came to this compound because they heard the other guys and me shooting in the first place. But this was way too much. So it added more tension to the mission. Yeah, definitely did. If that's good or bad, I'll leave to you. It overwhelmed my ability to track enemy players and teams. Not really, it was just... the ability to track, not. But it still was a lot sometimes in spawn fights. The rewards for successful extraction with bounty token were enough. No. But that's a general problem of Hunt. The bounty tokens are not worth enough. What's really rewarding right now is killing people. And that's fine for a PvP game, but the bounty token is a mere decoration. It's an afterlook, you know. When you have cleared the lobby, you can go for the boss without any issues, because there is no risk anymore. And if somebody else does the bounty, meanwhile you are fighting other people, you can still snatch it from their hands. Or you die trying. But the bounty right now is, in general, not that important, which is a bad thing for it being the main objective of the mission, and the PvP should only be a hindrance to it. At least that's how I understand the game. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. Overall, how did you feel about the increased match lobby size in experience? In duos, very dissatisfied. In trios, actually satisfied. Soul Survivor, I guess it's fine. I didn't play Soul Survivor, but I think more people in Soul Survivor would be good, because many times in Soul Survivor I'm just running around and nothing happens until somebody activates the Wellspring, and then everybody fights at the same compound. So more people could add more tension there, I can see that. But in duo queue, the additional teams were terrible, especially if you have like several solo players spawning next to each other. Did the increased player lobbies improve the PvP experience of Hunt? In trios, yes. In duos, no. The additional trio made it a lot better. We had one game where we had 4 trios, 1 duo, 1 solo. And that game was probably the best I've ever had. What do you respond to? Because overall, it would even out to no change felt, but that's not true. Should I pick no, it was worsened because I played mostly duo queue and there it was worse? Yeah, probably. How do you feel about this change? So, first of all, this story isn't really saying much as so things are missing, like some questions needed multiple choice instead of single pick options. about the online stuff. Connectivity issues. Is missing. Any disconnects or therefore reconnection issues, so I went for same as 0. About the event, about the test for Trio Q, by the right Trio Q. Good for duo Q. Why do I write this capital letters? I think it was really terrible. Simply because in duo Q there are a lot more solo players, and therefore the spawns get cramped quite quickly, and therefore you can have up to 6 teams in a corner compound, even though there is nothing there and some other team is, and they have to fight out while everybody else can go for bounties and whatever they please. Still it feels more like a spawn logic issue and might be salvageable. You write it that way? Yeah, right? Salvageable. If you want to go through with it. Alright, next. Which platform do you play on Showdown? Primarily on Steam. Please enter your Steam ID here optional. This is not the account name, it's the same version here. Ah, yeah, sure, you can have that. How many hours in total did I play on Showdown? Over 1,000. What year did you first start playing? Okay, it was 2024? Austria. Okay. So let me double check that that Steam ID real quick. It doesn't really matter. I can. Okay. Whoops. I need to block that Steam ID out though. Alright. Wait, did I start playing in 2024? I have no idea. When was the first achievement that I got? Yeah, 2024, okay. Good, that's it. Again, I'm not really happy about how this survey was done, but I just realized I don't even need to hide the Steam ID because it's public anyway. If you know my username, you can find my Steam ID. That being said, thanks... No, not thanks for watching. That being said, I want to add a few things here. First of all, I already said it, the duo queue is screwed over if we get 15 players permanently. The 3-player queue, if it's actually full teams, benefits a lot from it because it's like 5 groups of players moving and not just 4. However, the duo queue, if you have like 6 teams already, baseline, then it's like 8 teams because you get a duo and a solo in there to fill the lobby. I'm not really happy about that. Hunt lives a lot from this eerie feeling of being alone, of being silent, of being quiet. And I honestly am not sure how Hunt would benefit from that. Because Hunt right now is picking up pace in terms of gameplay speed. When I started playing Hunt, it was roughly a month before the switch to 1896. So I have 1 month of playing the old version, which as a noob doesn't tell much. But what I noticed ever since the 1896 release as well in itself, Hunt grows a lot faster in this time now. The gameplay pace will be increased because of perk changes, weapon changes, certain changes to weapons in balance wise. We had the revive bolts that were making the game super fast, especially in terms of revives. There was even an abuse way to revive yourself. If you were able to shoot it up in the air, then make a step forward, then somebody could kill you. You lie on the floor, the arrow still drops down and revives you. It was kind of stupid. I didn't manage to pull this off, but I saw videos of that and it's freaking hilarious. So Hunt picks up a lot of pace, and adding 3 more people to the lobby increases the pace further, because the more people there are, the higher the chance that around the next corner somebody is waiting for you. And if you put in more people, faster firing weapons, bringing in traits that make you fire slow weapons faster, like fast fingers, we are getting more and more to the pace of other shooters. And I was interested in Hunt because of the slower gameplay. And while we are still far from other shooter speeds like Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatnot, we are slowly catching up. And I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. The second reason, as mentioned already, the atmosphere of being alone or with your team, basically alone in that area. Not knowing where everybody else would spawn, not knowing where you might encounter somebody. Sorry. And that makes a lot out in the game. And with 15 people, you hear gunshots from the very first moment, because at least one compound has a spawn fight. Mostly more. I remember a spawn in Mammon's Gorge, where we spawned at not Grizzly Lodge, but below, between Grizzly and Preston. I forgot the name right now, sorry. But we had a spawn fight in Grizzly, and we had a spawn fight in Preston, and we had a spawn fight in Kingfisher. We heard the fights all around us. The reason why we didn't move out to fight somebody else there was because the boss was there. So we spawned at the boss compound. That was a game with Dexter, if I remember correctly. So I'm not sure if that's a way Hunt wants to go. And that brings me to another point. Hunt is already struggling on a smaller player base, and because of that smaller player base, it's very difficult to get a balanced matchmaking. because of that, you have sometimes 6-star players that are teaming up with 2 stars suddenly being in a 2-star lobby, because the MMR is just not capable of pulling them in a 4-star lobby right now or whatnot. I don't know. And with bigger lobbies, it's more difficult to fill them. Yes, you need less lobbies, but they are less balanced as well. So I'm not really sure if going for bigger lobbies helps you if you have a smaller player base. You know, a few months ago we were asked in a survey if we would be for or against putting console and Steam players or PC players in one lobby together because of the quote-unquote low player numbers. And now we are increasing the lobby size even though we didn't merge those 2 queues because people were against it. I don't know, this is just not adding up. Not saying that it's not potentially a temporary band-aid fix for something, I don't know, but I honestly think it would be better to not increase the player size overall, even though I had fun on the 3 people lobby, on the trio queue, sorry. Simply because of the changes impacting the game in a way that I think in the long run will be problematic. Alright, I think that's all. I'm looking forward to your opinion in the comments. Please share it with me, and also if you like what you see, like it. If you disliked what you see, dislike it. Every interaction helps. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and see you next time.